What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down why 0% business funding is literally gonna be the ultimate cheat code in order to be able to get free money to go ahead and grow your business, or it can leave you guys in debt. And I'll walk you guys through the different myths and also how to be able to best utilize it. So let's get into this video right now. All right, guys, so I know that you guys have seen on as far as the internet and everybody is going ahead and preaching, go ahead and get 0% business funding, go ahead and do this and that. And a lot of times people don't really understand when people say 0% business funding. Like, what does that even mean? So when people go ahead and actually say 0% business funding, what they mean is the promotional offer that a lot of credit cards give you in order to be able to go ahead and actually use the card within that allotted time. So for example, if you go ahead and apply with an American Express or a Chase Business Unlimited, they're gonna go ahead and give you guys 0% for 12 months. So as long as you guys go ahead and make the minimum payment, which is one of the most important factors, in order to be able to keep your 0% offer available, you're gonna need to make the minimum payments. So within that 12 months, as long as you guys are making those payments on time, then you guys won't have to pay any type of interest at all. So it's really one of those cheat codes you guys can be able to use and also really just grow your business if you guys utilize it right. Because the thing you have to keep in mind is that after that 12 months, it will kick back into a regular 15, 25, even 26% interest rate. That's definitely something to keep in mind as well. And how you guys are using the 0% has to be very strategical, and you have to know exactly what you're doing. So here's 5 different strategies on exactly how I would use 0% business funding in order to be able to scale and grow your business. All right, so tip number 1 is to actually go ahead and use 0% business funding only for revenue generating activities, right? Such as running advertisement, like making sure you guys go ahead and run some Facebook ads, run some YouTube ads, whatever it is. As long as it's giving you guys a return on investment, that's definitely where you want to utilize that 0% offer. Now, you guys can also be able to go ahead and actually get inventory if your business needs inventory and other products or any type of equipment manufacturer, right? Let's say you guys have an HVAC company. If you go ahead and buy a truck for $50,000, $60,000, you guys can literally be able to use that 0% business funding in order to be able to pay for that actual van or that truck. So that way you'll have a whole year in order to be able to reap the benefits of that truck being on the road, and you guys get into those service calls and closing those deals. So at the end of the day, that 0% business funding should really only be used for revenue generating activities, because you have to keep in mind, right, after that 12 months kicks in, they're gonna want their money and they're gonna want it with interest at that point. So you wanna make sure that as long as you guys have that 0%, use it for ads, use it for inventory. That's definitely gonna be the best way to be able to actually get your money back and actually utilize and also be able to use that 0% to its maximum capacity. So in the gist, if it's not gonna go ahead and return you guys money on investment, don't even use that credit card for it, and I wouldn't even use it, to be honest, as a business owner. Now let's go into the next tip right here. Now tip number 2 that I have for you guys is to go ahead and actually have a repayment plan, right? Before you guys go ahead and even activate the card, before you guys go even and literally try to think about what you're gonna spend, you might have gotten approved for a $50,000 Chase credit card, but let's face it, guys, if you don't know where that money is gonna go to, then most of the times you're gonna go ahead and just start spending and splurging, and that's not where you wanna be, especially if you guys are having that 0% promotional offer. You wanna be able to have a repayment plan, right? So let's say we're going ahead and use this 0% business credit card for ads, right? If we're running ads, we want to be able to make sure that we know exactly when to turn on the ads, when to shut off the ads, and also if it's profitable or if it's not profitable. You should know for every marketing dollar that you're spending, how much you're actually returning back on investment, because that way it allows you to keep track of where you're actually spending that money. Now, I actually like credit cards a lot, especially with business, because it's almost like your accountant, it's almost like your tax record. It keeps a list of every single dollar you ever spend. So let's say if you guys are going ahead and spending about $20,000 on Facebook ads, and you're spending another $10,000 on YouTube ads, and then you have TikTok ads, which you're only running about $5K. If you know that the YouTube ads are giving you guys the most return on investment, then I would actually utilize that in order to be able to go all into those YouTube ads. So that way you can be able to see exactly where your actual business is going, and you can't really run a business if you don't necessarily know your numbers. So that's why using that 0% offer is really great. You have to know how to be able to repay it back, and that's by knowing your numbers and knowing exactly where that money is going to go to. So you know exactly where that money is going to go to, and if you guys go ahead and actually spend that money right, make sure you guys know exactly how much per month you would need to pay off within that 12 months in order to be able to get that card well paid off before that 12-month ends. So if you went ahead and spent $10,000 on that credit card, then make sure you guys are paying a minimum payment of of at least $833. You guys could just go ahead and pay the minimum payment, but I wouldn't recommend that because you never know where things are going to turn out. So you want to be able to be safe and actually just stick to that monthly repayment plan of exactly having that car fully paid off when that 12-month ends. All right, so tip number 3 is, this is going to be a very high level tip, right? It's to actually go ahead and use that 0% funding very strategically by being able to go ahead and actually cover it from one card to the next. So when people go ahead and get 0% business credit cards, usually they'll go ahead and stack those different credit cards. And so that just simply means that you're getting multiple different offers of 0%. So you might have gotten approved for a Business Inc. Unlimited and also got approved for an American Express Blue Business. Both of those cards are 0%, but maybe you've got one a little bit sooner and the other one a little bit later, right? So making sure that you guys know exactly when those promotional offers ends. So let's say one ends about next month and the other one is still in effect. So what I would actually do is to go ahead and actually do a balance transfer, which usually will cost around a fee of 3 to 5% depending on the card that you have. And so that way, whenever that other card is basically ending that promotion, instead of you guys paying those high interest rates, you can just simply transfer that one balance to the actual card that still has the 0% promotional offer in effect. So that way you're actually saving a lot of money on interest. So this is going to be very strategic and you have to really time it right and make sure you guys know exactly when the other promotional offer ends. And it's very strategic, but this is a really great way because so a lot of times you guys can go ahead and actually buy time by just simply transferring the card. And that's why I really love business credit, because it's not even going to report to your personal. So at the end of the day, you can go ahead and still apply for another business credit card that does offer 0% and go ahead and transfer any previous balances you had on other cards to the new one you just got approved. So it's literally one of my favorite strategies because honestly, all you're doing is simply buying time. Of course, at the end of the day, when your business is really rampant and you're making more money, you can go back and pay those different credit cards off. But this is going to be able to help you guys out in the short term by being able to keep your cash on deck so you guys can be able to reinvest and grow that business. Now, tip number 4 I have for you guys is to not max out your cards, right? I mean, you guys can go ahead and just use the 0%. Let's say you guys get approved for $20,000, right? If you get approved for $20,000, I wouldn't just go ahead and max out that credit card right off the bat and just have $20,000 sitting there and you're just using it for the 0%, paying the minimum payments on time. Like, you can do that, but at the same time, I wouldn't recommend it because you have to really think about it like this, right? Especially if you guys are wanting to go ahead and build out with a bank. If they're seeing you have high utilization, even though it's business, it's not going to report to the personal. You're just going ahead and shooting yourself in the foot by not being able to get approved for other credit cards that they might offer. So let's say you go ahead and actually get a 0% business credit card with Chase, for example, and you want to be able to get the Chase Business Inc., which is another card that Chase actually has for their business. If they go ahead and see that you've already maxed out that one credit card that they already gave you, what's the chances of them even giving you another approval? Probably slim to none until you go ahead and actually pay off that balance. That way you guys can be able to have just more flexibility and more leg room. And so you don't really want to be able to go ahead and have a high utilization because it will hinder you from getting other credit cards, especially with that same bank. Just making sure you guys really don't max out the credit card. If you have to max out the credit card, I totally understand. I would just make sure it's for a good use and also know exactly when you guys are going to repay it off, because at the end of the day, the bank's not going to play about their money. So just make sure you guys know exactly what you're doing as far as when you're maxing out those credit cards and just literally avoid it. So that's gonna be the best bet. Now, tip number 5 that I have for you guys is to track every single dollar. Every single dollar you guys are spending on that credit card, I want to make sure you guys go ahead and track it. You guys wanna make sure you're tracking every single dollar, right? Like, don't just go ahead and just give it to an employee and for gas, for example, and they end up getting gas and then they're also getting some sandwiches, getting some different things, which don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, like, you guys can be able to go ahead and just give it to your employees, let them actually use it for actual gas, but you want to make sure that you guys are tracking every single dollar, because that way you guys don't just go ahead and start splurging the money. And so it's really going to be able to help you guys out in the long run, so you guys know exactly where that money's going to. So tracking every single dollar is super important by making sure that you guys understand where your money's going, so you guys can be able to have that repayment plan situated. So we just went over all the tips, right, as far as how to be able to actually use it strategically 0% really could be able to be a life changer. It's honestly free money as long as you guys are using it right. Now, if you guys don't actually go ahead and pay it back, like, you guys are gonna get stuck into a situation where they're charging you guys 20% interest every single month. And so I don't think anybody's gonna wanna be able to get charged. I don't even wanna get charged 5% interest. So 20% is gonna be a lot, and it's gonna accrue every single month, which I'm sure you guys already know, but making sure that you guys have that strategic plan, because a $50,000 credit card, like an approval, it seems like a lot of money, right? But once you guys really start to get it and then start to use it, trust me guys, that money can be able to literally go really, really fast, right? I would literally have certain situations where you would just blow past $20,000 without even really knowing it. So, and at the end of the day, like, as long as you guys are measuring it and managing it, having a strategic plan in place, it's gonna be able to be very advantageous to your business in order to be able to help you guys grow. But you guys wanna make sure that you're having a strategic plan around this. When that 20% kicks in, sheesh, just make sure you guys go ahead and actually have that paid off before then. The whole truth behind 0% funding, right, is really that a lot of people are often scared of it because they think it's like too good to be true. It's almost like a trap. So at the end of the day, right, you guys have to understand that these credit card companies, they want to be able to go ahead and approve you guys for credit cards. That's how they make money. So just make sure whenever you guys get that 0%, you guys go ahead and use it right off the bat. Because the last thing you want to do, right, is to go ahead and get approved for a 0% credit card and not necessarily have a plan. So you're stuck in a situation where you're going like 3 to 4 months and you still don't even know what to do with the money. So then that just actually eats up the time that you have left to be able to actually go ahead and use that money for the benefit to be able to make you guys money. Just make sure you guys know exactly what you're doing with the money, and trust me, as long as you guys are using it right, you guys can be able to make a killing, especially if you're running ads. So hopefully this video was helpful, and if you guys like this video, man, your boy is trying to get to that 10K. I'm on the road to 10K. Make sure you guys go and subscribe, and I'll see you at the top, my boy. Let's get it.